Excellence lives here in northeastern Indiana. It's reflected in more than 200 nationally recognized degrees. It drives our Division I sports. It's alive in our campus life. Excellence has a name, IPFW. Around our campus, around the country, around the world. Excellence lives here. Indiana University, Purdue University, Fort Wayne. One university, two great names.
This is Arts Weekly. Arts Weekly is presented by the College of Visual and Performing Arts at IPFW, offering degrees in fine arts, music, theater, and visual communication and design. IPFW, the energy of the arts.
Welcome to Arts Weekly. This week we're featuring local theater and local art. I'm Melinda Haines with the IPFW College of Visual and Performing Arts. In the second half of the show, we'll be joined by Deb Washler of ArtLink. But first, we'll chat with Leslie Hormann, the Executive Director of Fort Wayne Youtheatre, and Linda McCormick, the actress who is playing both the Witch and the Hag in this weekend's performances of the Snow Queen. Welcome to both of you.
Thank you for having us.
Well, I just think it's great to have you back here to talk about another great show. Tell me about the Snow Queen.
The Snow Queen is a classic fairy tale by Hans Christian Andersen, a masterful storyteller, and it talks about the winter wonderland of the Snow Queen, of course. And like all fairy tales, she's the classic villainess. And it's a story about good versus evil. She lives in a beautiful ice castle in a wintry, stark wonderland, and she's looking for a child because, like all the evil, villains and villainesses, that's her weak point. She wants a child of her very own, and she goes about looking for a mortal child to keep and to hold and to love forever.
Now, does this story relate to the holidays other than it's winter?
Sure, you bet.
Is this the
it's
time
very,
of
very
year
magical. Well, it's
Yeah.
magical. Winter and Christmas, they're magical times, and definitely the Snow Queen is very magical in its winteriness. But we do feature Christmas carolers. We have community Christmas carolers, and it's the Fort Wayne Children's Choir. They're a small group. They're older kids. They're senior kids. Also Hickory Elementary and Oakview Elementary.
So we're bringing a little bit of holiday magic through the music.
You betcha.
Well.
And everyone gets in the spirit because, White Christmas.
Now, the story itself, this is a significant piece of literature.
It is.
Tell me a little bit about more about it and how it got adapted, because it's a long piece.
It is a long piece, and if people know the stories from Hans Christian Andersen, they know The Little Mermaid, they know The Little Match Girl, those are the more popular stories. The Snow Queen was actually 7 tales, the tales of the Snow Queen, and she was featured in 7 different books. And obviously that was going to be pretty darn long to make a show, and we do an hour-long show, so it's right for families, right for children. And Harvey Cox, who's our director, he's the Snow Queen director, he adapted it. He's he's our artist in resident. I mean, he's a wonderful writer, and he adapted that. And there was a lot to combine when you're talking about 7 tales. A lot of characters, a lot of plot, and he does such a wonderful job of kind of choosing and picking the best characters, the most colorful characters, the characters you want to see on stage. And of course the Snow Queen, I mean, she's just beautiful. She's played by Kaya Miller. People would know her from she was Tracy Turnblatt in Hairspray.
Oh, I saw that. She was
great.
Yeah,
she's a great community actress.
Awesome.
Community singer. She's a wonderful singer, but she's just our Snow Queen, and she's just beautiful. She's magical and just incredible.
So, and the message behind the show is, is this a message of love that overcomes everything?
You betcha. It's classic. Good versus evil. Good wins out. They lived happily ever after, and it's about love, the power of love.
And how many kids are in this production?
It's a cast of 19, and we actually have 16 children, and we have 3 adults. Youth theater, obviously, we primarily use children, but there are a lot of times where characters, it's more appropriate that an adult plays them, like the Snow Queen. That's a pretty big role. Right. So we do have 3 adults, Kai Miller, Monty Fortney, and this one over here, Ms. Linda McCormick. But she doesn't know she's Linda McCormick.
A witch? Whatever gave you that idea?
Your dress?
Oh, this old rag? Let me explain. I only wear this on special occasions.
Special occasions?
Oh, of course, you silly girl. I wear this when I practice sorcery.
Sorcery. Well, we need a little sorcery right now. You are terrific in this role as the witch. I think that
Thank
is
you.
a great little introduction to what they're going to see.
Thank you.
She's awesome.
And you are playing the witch, and you're also playing another role as well.
The hag. I think they're trying to tell me something. But they're both very short parts, but they're fun and.
She used to work with those great kids.
Yes, I was just going to say the director, Harvey, I mean, we've always talked about Harvey and everybody loves him, and the kids are wonderful.
Well,
and
then-
it's just a fun environment.
The evil characters are always the kind of the fun ones to play and
Yes,
to have a
they
great time. Do you like one more than the other?
No, I like them both the same.
Yeah.
But this one has a little bit more outlandish costume.
Oh, I love that pointy hat. That is wonderful.
I hope I don't drive home and get stopped by a police officer.
I'm not sure you'd fit in your car like that. Now, what is your background? How did you come to be part of Fort Wayne Youtheatre?
Well, I'll just tell you this very quickly. When I was 5 years old, I had a chance and got to see, back in 1953, the musical Oklahoma at the Follinger Outdoor Theater. And I remember sitting there being swept away. I was so moved, and I knew then that someday I was going to be an actress.
Yeah.
And so I eventually went to LA and was there 10 years, studied and was in theater and studied comedy improv, and then came back home when I was 31, and then have done regional theater and met awesome people like Leslie. And
But she never got to be in youth theater as a child.
no, I was going to say, if youth theater had been around when I was a kid, it'd be Disneyland every day. We're so lucky to have such a great place for kids to experience the challenge and joy and the magic of theater. It's just a great thing we have here.
Well, you're a wonderful example of someone who is representing Fort Wayne Youtheatre.
Definitely.
So I have to ask the big question. Is there going to be snow on stage?
Yes, of course. You
Yeah.
could not do Snow Queen without snow. And not only do we have snow coming from the up above, but we have an icy, the whole castle's on ice. I mean, so the stage is all white. We have a beautiful snow background. The backdrop that Dave Ball did.
I saw that. That was
is
lovely.
huge,
Yeah.
and it's just a big winter scene that he pretty much created himself. And of course, we couldn't have the Snow Queen without a lot of snow. And audience will definitely see the magical snow falling down from the skies.
Can you tell me the magical secret behind the snow?
Oh, should we give away the secret? It's a snow bag. Yeah, it's a big bag, and there's two guys up on the top, like on the flies, and they each have the end of the snow, and there's pieces of, I guess, white material, and they shake the bag, and boom, 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 the little pieces.
There
come
goes
right
the
out.
illusion.
There it goes.
It
The
still
magician never
looks
tells
like,
his tricks.
Right, I know, but it looks like
It's great.
magic.
It's great.
On there.
And that's one thing that kids can do. They can come to youth theater and learn about the magic, behind the scenes
Exactly.
magic. Maybe they're not so great on stage. They don't want to be on stage, but there's so much that they can do behind the scenes and learn about the magic of theater.
Theater etiquette, there's just so much more to it than just being on stage.
Right. Well, and that kind of leads me into the classes and
Yes,
camps that
you
you
bet.
have coming up. Tell
You
me
bet.
about your winter camp.
Well, we have winter camp. It is December 27th and 28th. That's Thursday and Friday after Christmas during the winter holiday. It's from 10 to 2. It's grades 2nd and older, and it's a full day of drama, all things theater, pantomime, improvisation, stage blocking, script reading, costumes, puppets, makeup. We actually have one day where we do makeup and you learn how to make a bruise on yourself. And it's just a great way for anyone who's been to theater or been to youth theater and they want to do something during the holidays, because sometimes kids get bored during the holidays. Or if you've kind of been thinking about coming to youth theater but you're not quite sure what it's all about, come to camp. It's a perfect way to get a sneak peek of all the great things youth theater has to offer.
That two-day experience.
Two-day experience. And you can actually come one day or you can come both, because both days will be different.
Okay.
You betcha.
And then, so after winter camp, you're gearing up for your second semester sessions. Tell me about those, you know, what age range and what are you doing?
You bet. Second semester starts January 12th, and we have different levels of theater. We have a voice class, we have dance, we have stagecraft. That's what I was talking about, if you want to learn about the magic of the lights and the sound and the scenery. We also have radio theater, where they actually go to a radio station and they learn and they do radio scripts. And then they also have a comedy class. We have a comedy class where they learn to be like a comedy troupe like Linda was in, you know, kind of like improvisation, Night at the Improv, whose line is it anyway? We have classes for kids age 3 all the way up to 18.
Oh, terrific. And how long do those sessions run?
They're 8 weeks long.
8 weeks long.
You betcha.
So we've got a couple of things. The show first. When is that running?
The show is next weekend, Friday at 7 o'clock, Saturday and Sunday at 2 p.m. We've got our winter camp, which is December 27th and the 28th, and that's from 10 to 2. And of course, we have classes that start January 12th. And almost all the classes are on Saturday. We do have a Wednesday class, which is our comedy improv class.
So those classes that you've got, then you've offered them in the fall and then again in the early winters.
Yes, we do.
Twice a year in the summer.
And then we also have a mini session in the spring. And then we have a big summer camp, which is the last 2 weeks of June.
Well, one of the things that I think is so neat about your camps is that it actually takes you not only through those classes of learning to do that, but then you put on a show, or you've got those shows that the kids can audition for. You know, that's the big lead up of look at everything we can learn, and then boom.
Yes, and we cover auditioning. We cover auditioning in our camps, and it's just great if you want to come down and audition for a show. Every time you go to a class or if you go to a camp, it just makes the director a little more familiar with you.
Right. How many kids are involved in these shows?
Well, this show is 19, but we have shows all the way to up to 40 kids. We have classes of 300 students. So yeah. It's a great city with a lot of great kids in there that want to get up on stage, and it's a great way to meet kids that are like you know, that like theater.
And so these are kids are every ages, and the classes start January 12th.
January 12th, ages 3 to 18, and all around Indiana, northeast Indiana, kids come out for youth theater.
And it's just plain fun.
You betcha.
Linda and Leslie, thank you so much for being here today. You will not want to miss next weekend's showing of The Snow Queen. As we get ready to meet our next guest, please take a minute to view our performance calendar of what is coming up in our area, and you can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. We'll be right back with Deb Washler of ArtLink.